officer. You are?
A DS Kate Beecham, sir. I joined today. We met...
Welcome. Who's the woman?
Alison Reeves, the victim's fiancée. She found him. She's pretty cut up.
I think you better rephrase that. Boyfriend's missing his tongue.
Looks like revenge. A gangland killing. He was a chef. A spoon in the mouth.
So why cut out his tongue?
Maybe someone didn't like his food.
Bloody hell, Jez. You should be nicked for wearing gear that loud in a built-up area.
Had to catch me first.
When I first saw him, I thought he'd killed himself. Why would he want to kill himself? He wouldn't.
But that's what you first thought.
Well, it's just you don't expect to see him, you know, hanging there. How come you went round to see him this morning? I took him breakfast, croissant, coffee.
Philip was a chef. The fridge was full of food.
I just wanted to give him a treat. Why? We had a row last night.
What about?
I don't know, wedding arrangements, you know what it's like. Well, no one's ever asked me. What exactly did you argue about? I don't know, something to do with he'd invited more people than me. What does it matter?
Did you let yourself in?
Yeah.
Do you have a key? Anybody else have a key? Cleaner? Philip's mum?
No. So, you'd had a row, you're very angry, you'd stormed out. No, I don't know. I mean, oh, look, I just wanted some peace. But you're obviously pretty pissed off. So, what did you do then? I went home. Anyone there? No. No, I live on my own. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
What do you feel about her?
Feel?
Yeah, think.
There's no forced entry. She has a key. She and Lover Boyd had a tiff. She has no alibi.
Okay. Well, we'll not cross her off the list just yet. Let me introduce you to the lunatic. Jez, let me introduce you to your new oppo. D.S. Clifton, Jez, D.S. Beecham, Kate. Yes?
Where'd you come from?
Peckham.
Where? Chief Inspector Metcalf, thank you. What happened?
One of his parishioners phoned when he didn't show for Mass. First time in 40 years, apparently. And the last.
Who didn't show?
Didn't they tell you? It's the bishop, sir.
Bishop?
But my governor isn't here yet.
Well, I'll be inside.
What the hell are they doing here?
You know, Metcalf, I couldn't stop him.
Well, you've cleaned your slate, so now you're muscling in on mine, eh? Congratulations on the promotion, by the way.
We seem to be working on connected cases.
How many dead bishops can you have in one day?
A man was found hanged this morning in suspicious circumstances. His tongue was missing. Like your victim.
2 in 24 hours. Our bloke doesn't waste much time. You are the senior officer. Anything we can do for you?
I want the crime scene preserved. Nothing bagged. Everything left exactly as it was.
Duncan, I've already got a press embargo in place. We've issued the names, that's all. Chef might not make the front page, but a bishop's bound to. Throw in missing tongues and the tabloids will have a field day.
The dumbing down of crime.
We're going to merge your teams. You'll be based here. Red will lead the inquiry. You'll deputise, of course.
Is that a problem?
What does it matter who gives the orders?
2 victims. James Perch, Bishop of Wandsworth, Philip Blake, Fulham chef. Perch, beaten to death, Blake hanged. Both had their tongues cut out, both had silver spoons wedged into their mouths, both stripped to their underpants. We're looking for one killer.
Are you saying the same killer or a solo killer?
Both.
Why so sure?
No bunching.
Bunching?
Look at Perch's body. When there's more than one assailant, they tend to rain blows onto just one small area.
Imagine lumberjacks chopping down a tree.
It's called bunching. But he's bruised everywhere.
So we could assume for the moment that our killer works alone.
In no similar cases, then he kills 2 in one night.
Leaves the family silver in their mouths and makes off with their tongues. Now, what kind of wacko's that?
Both tongues were cut out with a very sharp knife. Maybe even a scalpel. Our man knows what he's doing. Tongue is pulled out, cut across the back. He severed a number of major arteries, causing muscle to block off the airway. Blood welled out of the mouth, but was also swallowed involuntarily, resulting in choking on the blood and the base of the tongue. Which brings us to the most gruesome feature of these deaths. Victims were alive when their tongues were removed.
He's good with a knife, possibly a scalpel. Did Blake and Perch share the same butcher, a doctor?
What's with the underpants? Any semen?
Forensics are ripping the places apart. There's nothing on the bodies themselves so far. No semen, no saliva, no hairs, nothing.
So it's not a sex crime?
Maybe he's walking around with the tongues up his arse.
Tongues, sharp tongues, forked tongues, speaking in tongues.
Maybe they squealed.
The Right Reverend Bishop of Grass. I think not.
He restrains them. He cuts the tongues out, then he kills them.
He's a sadist.
He's a risk taker, or very clever. There's more blood when they're still alive.
Which means he must be covered in it. How does he get away unseen?
No, maybe he didn't. Perhaps house to house will turn up someone who was too scared or piss idle to phone the police.
He's strong.
Could be she's strong.
Run checks on Alison Reeves, Blake's fiancée. See if there's a connection between her and the bishop. What about the spoons?
Bottom of the silver spoon in the mouth.
Envy. Class war. That's simple.
Wasn't greed. Nothing was stolen.
Perch's door had been forced open. Blake, on the other hand, knew his killer, let him in, or he had a key. What about finances? Were they rich? Get on to it. What do you see?
Religious man. Low church. Spartan. And it's neat. Tidy.
Exactly. He was a fastidious man. He was wearing a nightshirt. Why wear underpants?
I think I persuaded the press they'll get nothing more tonight.
He was made to change into underpants.
So it's sexual. Strips them.
Maybe not. Maybe not. The killer made him change. Different thing. Either way, the genitals are hidden. What do you think?
Me?
Yes?
The killer gets into the bedroom. He makes the bishop change out of his nightshirts. Then he takes him downstairs and beats him to death.
So why not kill him here?
Part of the ritual? I don't know.
A change here. Take it off. I don't drop it. I throw it at him. Covers his head. Blinds him. I make to escape. He lashes out to me with his club, his baseball bat, whatever. Misses. Hits here. Rips the shirt off his head. Throws it down there. Chases me downstairs. He's younger. It's quicker. Catches me at the door. Drags me into the living room. Batters me to death.
He nearly made it.
Poor sod.
All we need now is for you to tell us who did it. We can go home.
Swim underneath him, wrapped in these tentacles. Each building will die in brain. Well, the two tentacles extending either side. Which is when you capture on both sides, your heart race is also born in this group of your own black car. Almost like a dream hovering above you that you must deal with in order to cross. You make the bridge stronger, and hence the bridge is above par. I think it's quite a picture. When you see the entire picture, that you're able to move across the bridge and break the shadows around it. To breathe
The Soddy spoons are Italian, bristly, solid silver, apparently. 10,000 imported in the last 5 years, give or take. In batches of 12. They're part of a dinner set. We're checking mail order and retailers, but even so, we'll be lucky if we trace 2/3 of them.
If you pay in cash.
Both James Perch and Philip Blake had more than $1 million in the bank. Bishop's was a family legacy. Philip's largely self-made. Bishop leaves everything to the church, Philip to his family.
Pull in their accounts. Any unusual large withdrawals, any suspicious regular payments? Where they been blackmailed?
No friends, acquaintances, business contacts, doctors, butchers, candlestick makers. No one in common. We're starting on mailing lists and associations.
House to house. Freeman.
Nothing. Philip's neighbour's as deaf as a doorpost. Sorry, Governor, no offence. And the other's on holiday. No one else heard a thing.
Wandsworth.
Nothing. Big house, set back. No one heard a thing. No one saw a thing.
Nothing suspicious. No one arriving, no one leaving.
These people could be referees, they see so little.
It's their job to see things. What have we missed? What are we missing?
The connection.
Maybe we're getting too bogged down in material. We've missed the connection because the killer's made it in his head.
Something concrete links Philip Blake and James Perch. We just don't know what it is. To him one day, it's revenge. It's one-off.
I hope so.
Well, if you're really concerned about missing things, you better start closer to home.
Oh, no.
Hi, Sam. How you doing?
Good.
Hi, Sam.
Are you working for Dad again?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where's your mum?
She got caught up at work.
Come on, let's go.
He had a cold last week.
No skinny dipping in the Thames, then?
See you later, Sam.
See you.
Not too late, Sunday, okay?
Chief Inspector, this is Roger Parkin from Herald. I've arranged a room for your interview.
Can we keep this brief?
The violent death of a bishop. The pressure on you must be intense.
The pressure to find the killer of any innocent victim is always intense.
And are you any closer to finding him?
The investigation is ongoing. I don't think it will be helpful for me to comment at the moment.
The answer's no, then?
The answer is no comment.
Is there any connection between the death of the bishop and the murder you were called to in Fulham on the same day?
If there was, I certainly wouldn't discuss it with you.
Did you always want to be a policeman?
I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid.
What made you join the force?
Well, how else do you get to go around in a car with a blue flashing light?
Commit a crime?
I like to sleep at night.
Just that I wondered whether your becoming a policeman had anything to do with what happened to your brother.
You know the rules, Roger.
Yeah, of course I know the rules. It's just that it must be quite an embarrassment. Especially now he's out. I'm sorry, didn't anyone tell you? Eric was released 2 weeks ago. He's in a hostel in Southend.
Help me! It's me. You've got to come. Now! Help me, Ed. Please. Help me. Help me.
I'm afraid he doesn't want to see you. Stephen Hedges. We spoke on the telephone.
How is he?
Oh, he's settling in.
I asked to see his psychiatric reports.
Well, whatever you're asking, I'm afraid I can't help you.
You could talk to him. Persuade him to see me.
This is a big enough adjustment for him as it is. Eric is starting again. It is a long journey back to normal life, you know.
Doesn't have to do it alone.
He is not ready or willing to face you. Not yet. And I do not see it as part of my job to make him change his mind.
Read my mind. So what am I thinking? Dinner at my place?
I'd love to, but I can't.
Sorry, I don't mean if I'm treading on someone's toes.
No, you're not. Not how you mean.
Sorry, there was hell of a queue. Mega burger with the works. 50 pence, you can't get that in your mouth.
Easy. How much did you lose then?
50p on your rotten burger.
Damn, Dad. I can tell. I can always tell.
Hi, darling. Did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah, brilliant.
Good. Won't you along inside? I need to have a word with your dad.
I want to stay out here.
There's a surprise waiting for you.
He can stay out if he wants to.
Back to your old habits.
Perhaps it would be a good idea if you went in. There's got to be something better to watch than me and your mum.
You didn't go to the Buckies once, did you, Dad?
Sam.
Hey, come here. Give us a hug. Next week, the London Eye.
He's already been to the London Eye.
Why'd you have to spoil everything?
Thanks.
Let's keep this civil.
Piss off.
It's all right. I'll handle it. That's the second time this year your check's bounced.
We've got a big case on.
Then you should have less time to piss your money away.
Well, you and him aren't exactly hard up.
And he's not Sam's father.
Oh, no, but he doesn't mind getting his hand in his pocket if he thinks he can bribe my son away from me. And what's the surprise this time? PlayStation 2, designer jeans, what?
Oh, grow up, Duncan. If anybody's a spoilt kid, it's you.
Sorry, mate. Foot slipped.
Get up, you slob. It's almost lunchtime. Four-hour delay at Malaga. James? You want to open a window in here? The place stinks. Mind you, perhaps it's me. I'm going to grab a shower. I reckon we got a blocked drain. That, or you've had a dose of Montezuma's revenge.
Had James been in the army long?
Since he left school.
All he ever wanted to do.
Loved all that stuff. Guns, you know?
Got on well with his men?
Great. They loved him.
So, no enemies that you know of, then? There was no forced entry. He let his killer in. You knew him, Nick. Love life?
What do you mean?
Did he have a love life? Someone special?
He could have. Girls really liked him, but he didn't think it was fair getting serious, not when he could be called abroad any minute.
Well, he must have had some social life. Pubs, clubs.
He hated clubs. He was just an ordinary fellow, you know?
So he was a loner, then?
No. He had lots of mates.
Do you know where he kept his address book?
No. It's what you're supposed to do with younger brothers. Protect them, isn't it?
If you really want to help your brother, tell me whatever it is I know you're not saying. Okay. I'll try. Was James a spy?
No.
Was he gay?
Don't be crazy. No, he bloody wasn't.
He was an officer in the army. His life would have been unbearable if they found out.
You got it wrong.
Somebody detached James's head from his body. Are you telling me that's less frightening than facing the fact that your brother was gay?
I wasn't ashamed of him.
I didn't think you were.
Kid brothers. Nothing but trouble, eh?
Okay, look. With one closet gay, one bishop of who knows what sexuality, one apparently straight guy with a fiancée. You have to ask. Tell me about Philip's friends. The people he mixed with.
How do you mean?
Well, I'm just trying to get a general picture of his social life. You know, the sort of people he encountered.
What do you mean, sort of? I mean, he had normal friends.
Normal.
Ordinary. Couples.
You and Philip argued the night before he was killed.
What?
Never really told us what that was about.
I can't remember.
Why? Because it's too painful? Or is it something else you decided to forget?
My fiancé died. I mean, we were going to have babies, one boy, one girl, pension plans.
Threesomes? Will you let the boyfriend stop over? Or were you just going to turn the telly up when you heard Philip slip out the door?
What?
He loves you, you love him. You're best mates. Like cooking together, shopping, seeing musicals. Only problem, you haven't got a dick.
It wasn't like that.
Like what?
I was all he wanted. And he told me so, and he meant it.
What?
Then he went and invited him to the wedding. Our wedding.
Who?
An ex-friend.
What was his name?
Kevin Latimer. That's Kevin with an A. He didn't even have a proper name.
Got him. Holy shit.
Duncan, what? What?
He's flagged. He's a rep boy. ABH.
H98 shoved a broken glass in a client's face. He's had some high-class trade. And he visits them in their homes.
Get down there, Duncan. Take Jez and all the lads you can. The place is like a sieve. No one any mistakes with this guy. Where's Jez? You lot?
Here, and round the back.
Okay, let's see if there's anybody home.
You should be in the flying squad.
Okay. Caution. Kevin Latimer. I'm arresting you. Oh, my God. On suspicion of murder.
With Latimer commencing 1505. Sit down. Officer President. Chief Inspector Metcalf, D.I. Warren. Why did you run?
I owe some money. I thought they sent you lot to collect.
Oh, who?
Just some people.
What, Punter?
I don't have to answer that.
Punter like Philip Blake? Tell me about Philip.
He's dead.
How do you know?
I can't read, you know.
Sit down!
Don't get smart with me.
Where were you the night Philip Blake died?
Sue you lot for assault.
That's your trick, isn't it? Broken glass in the face, nearly took a Punter's eye out.
You hurt me. Do you want to see my scars?
Show me the scars.
I'll show you.
Philip hurt you?
No.
Is that why you killed him?
I didn't kill him. Why would I kill him? I never touched him.
Kids home when you were 7. Even your own mum didn't want you. Selling your body by the age of 10. You're scum. The suspect has been handed a handkerchief.
We're giving you a chance, Kevin. A clean slate to start again. What happened with Philip?
Philip taught me that.
Good with your hands.
I keep good head as well.
Is that what James Buxton thought?
Who?
James Perch.
Never heard of him.
Maybe James Buxton was one of your clients.
No.
Do you know the names of all your clients?
Of course not.
Then how do you know he wasn't a client like Philip?
Because Philip wasn't a client. Not anymore.
Wasn't your boyfriend. He was getting married.
No.
How'd you know?
Because he invited me. Got a proper invitation. White card, the works.
Why the hell would he ask you?
Scum. He wanted to prove to me that I was his friend, not just some... He's my friend, all right? He cared about me.
You must have been pretty upset and confused when you found out he was getting married.
I wasn't. I told him he was screwing up his life.
Where did you tell him? In his house?
Yeah.
When?
When, Kevin?
Right before I took 25 sleepers and he rushed me to hospital.
When was that?
I don't know. Tuesday. Wednesday.
Where were you the night he died?
Rehab clinic.
What?
Rehab clinic. He made me promise to clean up. And he goes and dies on me.
I talked to the supervisor. He reckons there's no way Kevin could have slipped out that night without him knowing.
Then I checked out their security system. It's a bloody farce.
Kevin signed in and he signed out.
Well, that means nothing.
It means we can't hold on to him.
Two of our victims were gay. That can't just be a coincidence.
Okay, find out more about them. But Duncan, be tactful.
£20 to get in. These people are doubly sick.
You ever seen any of these men? You're not going to get them into trouble, trust me. You'd be helping them out.
Him.
When was he last here?
A while ago.
Did he come often?
Pretty much. Usually with a younger guy. That's the one.
Did you ever see him with anyone else? Philip and Latsman, no one else.
Let's get out of here.
What? Joke. It was me.
Disappointed.
Ever seen these men?
No? Yes. No.
Oi. How about any of these?
Him.
They should be warned.
We go public, mass panic, killer goes to ground.
Or this scenario. We don't go public. More innocent people die.
Big stakes, Red, gambling with lives, serial killer targeting gays.
We cannot be absolutely certain that these are homosexually motivated killings. There are too many other factors involved. No semen, underpants, missing tongues, spoons.
We understand. Really? You reckon you should have it cracked by now, so you want to hang on to all of it? Look, I'd be just the same, mate. But the killer has the advantage. Right now, we've got to concentrate on our defense.
I'm the senior officer here. It's decided.
Mr. Warren has defaulted on the last 2 months of his child support payments. Am I right?
No, it's not as simple as that. I have to
Am I
pay...
right, Mr. Warren? Yes or no?
That is not the point.
That is the point.
She is living with somebody else. How do I know what she's doing with the money?
Oh, for God's sake.
Well, I'm his dad, right? I should be allowed to see whenever I want, not one miserable weekend in two, having to grovel every time I bring him back a minute late.
It was all agreed.
Oh, right, by flashy suits charging £50 an hour. I had to buy her out of the house. I'm trying to cope with a mortgage on my own. Have you any idea how much a copper earns?
This isn't helping.
All you're interested in is the bloody money!
What Duncan's not telling you, Mr. Meadows, is that he has a serious gambling problem.
Old story, Helen.
You like to gamble?
I like to drink. I'm not an alcoholic.
The news that a serial killer is targeting gays in London has sent shockwaves and panic through the homosexual community. Meanwhile, the Church of England has registered its strongest of objections at the posthumous outing of Bishop Perch.
I was just coming to see you.
Why wasn't I told about this?
Came straight from Emerson.
It would have come out soon enough. Better now on our own terms.
Why didn't you consult me?
Why didn't you consult me? I'm trying to pursue a policy of open policing here.
You should have trusted me.
This isn't about you, it's about saving lives, and need I emphasize careers.
Who was it? Was one of my officers told you? How am I supposed to run a major investigation if I am deliberately kept in the dark?
This isn't the time, Chief Inspector.
Why so-called gay theory is only one of several lines of inquiry we are pursuing. We would not like to place undue emphasis on this at the expense of other possibilities. We have a number of promising leads, and we are sparing no effort to apprehend the killer. You will appreciate that I can say no more at this moment. Sorry. You talk to me before you go above my head. I demand loyalty from every member of my team. If I find out who went to Emerson, I promise you, you're out.
He's been skinned alive. The killer made cut marks around the neck and the upper arms and the waist, removing the skin like a vest. He then skinned the arms separately like sleeves, making an incision down the long axis from the shoulder to the hand to save time. On a man this age, tissue under the skin contains tougher, fattier fibers. The skin would not peel off. Instead, it appears as though he used his hands with a knife to push the skin aside, as though he were skinning an animal. It doesn't look as though Bart Miller died of blood loss. More likely, he died of fright.
Fine Latimer. Don't care what his alibi is, just bring him in.
Bart was a tanner. He was skinned alive.
Well, Philip was a chef. The killer didn't fricassee him, he hung him. You're going up a blind alley.
Had Bart worked here long?
5.5 years.
Know anything about his private life?
What do you mean, private life?
Oh, you know, friends, lovers, people he hung out with.
Look, he was a friend of mine. He's just died. Please, let's just leave it.
It's possible that the killer knew Bart. It is vital that you help us with any information that you can.
If we could just keep this quiet. I don't want to hurt anyone, especially not Maggie.
Maggie?
His girlfriend.
Look, pal, we're all very broad-minded. We have heard it all before.
Okay. He was having an affair with Jenny in the office.
He wasn't rich. He wasn't gay. He wasn't killed in southwest London. Nothing to link him to the others at all.
The killer got the wrong guy.
The killer hasn't got anything wrong so far.
How do you know that? You make these sodden pronouncements, you don't know that.
I know. Wake up. We're back to square one. Oh, please, Mother.
I told you years ago, you've got to see a shrink about this. Do you want me to drive?
Latimer took a major overdose 4 days ago. Been in a coma and intensive care ever since. They don't expect him to last the weekend.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, it's... There's been another one. There's been another one. He was skinned alive. A man died because I don't get it. Philip Blake, chef, hanged, Fulham, 1st of May. James Perch, bishop, beaten, Wandsworth, also 1st of May. James Buxton, soldier, beheaded, Putney, July 25th. Bart Miller, tannery worker, skinned, Wapping, August 24th. Each had their tongues cut out, each had silver spoons in their mouths, each stripped to their underpants. First 3 were gay, well off, lived in southwest London. The last was straight and broke. We're dealing with a signature serial killer here. There has to be a link between all the victims. We start again.
Maybe he changed the pattern because we gave the press the gay theory.
He's laughing at us. He's dragging us around by the balls.
I'd like you to see the counsellor.
What for? Because I'm not delivering your killer in time? Think I'm not up to it?
It's not personal.
Oh, yeah. It's personal.
Me asking you to see someone or the case? Look, I'd ask anyone who was leading this investigation. You're eating it, sleeping it. How's Susan?
Fine.
Good. So I'll put you down for a session then.
Dinner's on me tonight.
Well, this is jolly, isn't it? Can't beat a bit of bonding over a biryani. Ground rules, no shop talk, no heavy petting. Not until you're in the privacy of your own home. Papa Dom, anyone?
You're a pig.
And there's me thinking I'm a funeral director.
Look, I'd like to take this opportunity
To thank my mother, my agent, my crack
Shut it,
dealer.
Duncan. To thank you all for, well, for your hard work these past few months. It hasn't been easy. It's been,
To the team.
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 How come you're off the bevy?
Training. Besides, kills the memory cells.
I'll drink to that. Yeah, maybe I'll get myself one of these personal fitness trainers. How about it, Kate? You could come over and harden me muscles.
You're really sad, you know that.
Well, at least I'm not panting for someone in my own team.
Come on, that's not good.
Well, personal. I think Kate still wants to get personal. She's got her tongue hanging out every time she looks at him. In fact, it's hanging out so far, you don't really need Jez, darling.
Duncan.
It's all right, Jez. I can handle this.
Oh! Ah!
Say sorry.
You've been to the wall down my shirt front now, you daft cow.
Say sorry.
Will you get up and sit down and eat your dinner? Stop looking about, you silly tart.
Say
He's got a bloody...
Okay.
Thank you. Don't ever do that again.
Roadworks are still in operation on the A3 and traffic is now congested for about a mile starting at the Queen's Head roundabout. A lorry has shed its load on the A40 just west of the Ealing flyover westbound, and now traffic is backed up for about 2 miles heading out of the city, which should be avoided if at all possible. There are no problems on the motorways, the M4 flowing very well both ways. The earlier accident on the M13 northbound has now been cleared.
He used a heavy knife, possibly a machete. And he used it with force. Look at the depth of the cuts.
Imagine the height of the backswing to get spray marks that long.
Matthew Fox. Mr. Average. So what connects him to our other victims?
Well, maybe offing a taxman's the killer's idea of a public service.
Shut up, Duncan.
How does it make you feel? Angry, indignant, scared?
Nope.
You don't hate him?
Don't know him. How can I hate him?
You spent 4 months on this case. You don't have a suspect. He's giving you the runaround. I'd hate him.
I want to stop him. Hating him counterproductive.
It's that easy for you, is it?
Well, do you let yourself become emotionally engaged with you? What am I, your patient? Client?
No, I don't. I don't deal with monsters.
Define monster.
You're better at asking questions than answering them, aren't you?
I hope so.
Why are you frightened of people knowing the man behind the job?
No.
Don't you like yourself? Got something to hide? Do you talk to anybody about what you see?
Colleagues?
Apart from them?
No.
Your wife?
Sometimes.
Friends?
No.
Family?
It's me. You got to go. No! Help me, Ed. Please. Help me. Help me. Who's it?
Who do you think? Hey. What is it? What's wrong? We don't speak.
Why not?
These things happen. What's wrong with her? Is she pissed?
We both were.
Oh, for God's sake, Eric.
I want her out of here.
Come on now, Charlotte, wake up.
Get her out. Tell her to go.
Come on now, it's time to get to your own bed. Charlotte. She's dead.
She's mucking about.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
You must have done something, Eric. She's dead, Eric. She's dead. So, calm down and start at the beginning.
We were at a party. She was hot, honest. She came on to me. I thought, this is it. This is going to be the one. Then the stupid slag.
What, she changed her mind?
It was her fault. She led me on and took her clothes off. What did she expect me to do?
Get on going.
She was screaming. I just wanted to shut her up. Next thing, I didn't mean to kill her.
Why didn't you call an ambulance?
She was dead. Why would I need an ambulance?
Okay.
You've got to help me, Dad. Please, you've got to help me. It was an accident, Dad.
You have to tell someone.
No, we can't. No, please. I'm sorry.
Stupid bugger!
I know.
Oh, I need to think about this. I've got to have to think about this.
You can't leave me here. You've got to promise you'll help me.
Yeah, I promise.
Promise?
Yeah, I promise. Why can't I see it?
Later.
Were you bailing him?
No. We're charging Eric with murder.
Look at her.
She was suffocating!
He's my brother! I trusted you!
You've done the right thing, believe me!
No. It's worse than that. It's me. Fight you, Eric.
Eric! You cheated. I'm all right.
Leave me!
Who is it?
St. Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Oh, this is the Church of St. Bart's.
What's he holding in his hands?
His skin. He was flayed alive. St. Bartholomew was one of the 12 apostles, you see.
What were the names of the other apostles?
Well, it was Simon, Peter...
Was there a Philip?
Yes.
How did he die?
Hanged.
James?
Well, yes, there were two. One was bludgeoned to death, the other was beheaded.
Matthew?
Matthew was slain with a halberd, a machete.
He's killing the apostles. He's killing the apostles. He's killing the apostles.
Bartholomew, skinned alive. Philip, hanged. The two James, one beaten to death, the other beheaded. Matthew, killed with a machete.
What about the ones who were left?
Andrew and Peter were both crucified. Andrew on a saltire, which is an X-shaped cross. Peter upside down. Judas hanged himself. Thomas was stabbed by a lance. And Jude was clubbed to death. Simon was...
What?
Simon was sawn in half.
Yes, all right. Quiet! Quiet! Is there any discernible order to these killings?
No, none that I can see.
The victims are found with silver teaspoons in their mouths.
Ah. Were they plain or decorated?
Plain.
Well, there are sets of a dozen teaspoons. They're called apostle spoons, but normally they have the apostle heads engraved on the top.
I suppose you could say our victims provided the decoration.
Tongues. Speaking in tongues. The apostles spoke in tongues.
Tongues? Sorry.
He cuts the tongues out and takes them away as trophies.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, bring my chair. Stephen, are you all right?
I'm all right. I'm all right. No, really.
Do you want...
Thank you. I'm all right.
So, we're looking for someone who's got it in for the Christian church, Christianity, Christ himself.
Religious sects?
Fundamentalists.
Yeah, religious upbringing, possibly abused by a priest as a kid.
Devil worship.
The devil himself.
Yeah, okay. What could we possibly mean by that?
Someone who sees himself as the Antichrist, perhaps.
Yeah, all right, so we trawl the loony bins, the prisons, any religious nutters, anyone who's recently been released?
No, for the first time, we're ahead of him. 7 men will die if we don't get this right. Now, we keep the lid on this, and we stop him. Understood?